is Gargi and my daughter's name is Titli. Though officially or legally I'm not a single mother, but when this episode of my life happened, like I have a daughter, autistic daughter. She was born with this condition, autism, and she was born in 2012. And I came to know about it after 3 years, when after she was born, because she was not speaking properly. She was not at all speaking, but all her milestones were all perfectly going okay, except for the language formation. So at that point, we as a parent were very concerned, and we went to check with many doctors, psychiatrists, and we came to know with the term autism. Maybe in your family or in your surroundings, you might have come up with the word autism now very frequently, or you might have met with children or some adults who fall into this category or syndrome. So then what happened is that as soon as it got diagnosed, I found myself like completely broken, obviously, as a mother, because it's a challenge to hear that your daughter, your precious child, is born with some kind of a health condition which is not going to stop, or you can't reverse the process in a year or two. It will be a lifelong condition you will have to live with. So then comes the challenge of facing the family and accepting the thing that, okay, this is a condition, my child is having it. So it is not making her or him a peculiar person or a special or a very different person. It is just that she's born with this condition. That's it. But she is like us, any normal person we are. And it took me around 3 months to realize it and then to rise from the situation and start thinking. So, in this process, not all the time I would say I got help from my own family, because they were probably emotionally weak. I don't blame them. It's a big blow as a family to hear that a child has been born like this. And then comes the situation when you have to rise up from this and you have to start thinking what we can do to help her. So after 3 months, when we went to see the therapist or the doctors, all wrote the autism with a question mark. And their first way of judging her was just calling her name is Titli, calling her by the name Titli, and she never responded them back. Though she was aware that someone is calling her, she never looked back. She never made an eye contact. And this word autism was like a puzzle to us. We went back home, we Googled it. I still remember my husband thought that it is something related with hearing ability. And he said to me, we will fix it by an operation and everything will be fine. So I just told him, probably you need to Google it and find out and find the truth, the hard fact reality, that what it is. And then only we can probably move on and work collectively towards it. And next few years, it was a roller coaster ride for us. Our daughter was only crying, not making any communication, not even tried once also to call us mama, papa, never. And we realized soon, especially me, because my husband was busy with his career, with his job. I don't blame him. We need the money to run the house also, to pay the therapist, to go to the special school, okay? So me as a mother, I found myself breaking to the point that probably I would have got myself in a severe kind of a depression. And I heard stories from other mothers who were going through the same problems and who were saying that what kind of a severe depression they are in. Some were on some depression, like some had to go to the psychiatrist, was on some kind of pills to take care of their own being. So forget about taking care of the child at that situation. So what happened with me is that in this journey, I found some very good people as a therapist or as friends who wanted to help me to come out of this situation. So my daughter was going to a therapy center. They offered me, why don't you join us and help other kids and in the process learn how to take care of these kids. So it was a very, I would say, fulfilling job for me to do it, though my profession was something else before I joined this school. But I thought that, okay, why not take this challenge? It's a very good opportunity. Nobody was willing to give me that at point since I was not a certified one. And that opened my eyes to this world, like a different world. When we see something, probably when I'm seeing into this auditorium, I'm making an impression of, okay, this many people are sitting, somebody is putting attention to whatever I'm saying, whatever not. Just think of a person who is looking into this auditorium but not getting anything, nothing feedback. It is not coming to his or her head how many people are sitting, what are their reactions, it could be good, bad, how they are judging me, how they are looking into me. Just blank. We probably won't be able to think of it also. Because the moment we look at something, we always think from our brain. And here I'm talking about such a condition where the both parts of your brain, the right and the left, is not working properly, is not coordinating actually. So there comes the question of brain gym. I think many people have heard of it, brain gym. So it is nothing but where you have to, I would say, synchronize the both parts of your brain, and then only you come to know that, okay, this is the picture, this is the surrounding I am in. So you can understand a person's problem when he or she can't judge exactly what he or she is seeing, what environment he or she is in. So forget about an reciprocation from them, right? We can't do anything that time.
Gargi, just 1 second. Come on, kids, can you have some silence, please? Thank you very much. Hello. Come on, guys.
And I know that the parents who are having kids, raising kids, normal kids, probably doesn't care a fig about what a mental health problem can be. But I would like to all of you to take a second or a two to think about it, because we also as a parent are facing a lot of challenge every day. And any school you talk about now, they speak about inclusive. But actually what inclusive means, just to allow a special child to be in your class and then allow the normal kids to bully them, and in the middle of the session some school come up to say that, sorry, your child is not can't fit into the class, why don't you shift that child to a therapy center? Is it what inclusive is? No, right? The inclusive means that when we all are ready to work hand in hand, that is inclusive. How much difficult it is. Think of it, a child spends only 5 or 6 hours max in a school, and the rest of the time the child is spending that time at home. So at least we can have that empathy and sympathy towards that family and the child when they are going through so much, that we shouldn't bully them in public, or we shouldn't look down to them saying that, oh, their kids is a special kid, what they will know about the normal life or whatever it is. But that was the thing that struck to me, that why this is happening. Because while raising a special child, I realized we need a lot of patience, actually more patience than any parent requires. Because the chances of failures are much more. You know it, that you are going to fail, but still you are going to do it again and again, maybe 1,000 times, 200 times. And you don't have anybody to answer that why that is not working. For a normal family, what happens is that most of the time we as a parent ask, why you are not able to flourish in your studies? I am providing you everything that is required. But here you will be dealing with a child who probably doesn't have that ability to speak also for himself or herself. So no way you can cut short this process. You will have to make it more interesting. You shouldn't fall yourself into a depressing situation. And moreover, you will have to pull that child out of that situation where he or she is vulnerable to any kind of bullying. So it becomes more and more difficult. So then started my journey as an ABA therapist, and then I started working with my daughter's speech therapist also, because she is non-verbal. She can't speak. She can speak only few. I think I can count them in my fingers if I count. And she has to use her laptop. An app is there which helps her in speaking. If she types something, that app speaks for her. So you can think that how difficult it is as a parent also to connect with that child. So forget about asking why you are not able to flourish when I'm providing my 200%, okay? So then started the long journey, and believe me, I'm thankful that slowly I was able to convince my family, my husband, that in spite of whatever it is, we can win the situation. If we have that thing within us as a parent, that no, we will do it, however rough waters we are in. So we will have to swim some days against the tide, we will have to do it, but we can't fall apart as a family. Because if we fall apart as a family, there is no chance of our daughter also pulling out of it. And now, the child I'm talking about, she knows how to skate, she knows how to swim, she knows how, she goes to her physical training every day, and she runs her own jewelry making business. It's called Titli's Treasure Trove. Actually, this is the bracelet that has been made by my daughter. Okay, I'm wearing it today. If you go back home, check on, she has her own Facebook page. It's called Titli's Treasure Trove. To think of it of a child who at one point used to only cry. The only way of communication was her crying, nothing else. From there, we had to slowly work, and especially me as a mother, I had to take the center stage, because everyone who I came across, they told me just one thing, that you as a mother is staying with that child for 24/7. So you can only bring a change in that child. So that's how my journey started. And the interesting fact is that my daughter first called me Mama at 5.5 years. For the first time. That also with lot of effort, okay? With lot of effort, she started calling me Mama. I think anyone who is sitting in this room are mothers. We first want to hear that word. Ma, Mama, Mummy, Amma, whichever language it is, right? Because we know the pain that we have to go through for the childbirth. And think of it, if you can't have it, then how does it feel? Yeah, I'm not expecting, my question to the world was that, am I expecting too much? I'm just hankering to hear that word, right? So it was, I would say, a very enlightening journey, and it is still going on. But what I put forward here into this situation is that maybe your child is not a special child. Maybe you know someone in your surrounding, in your friend, in your relative who needs help. Actually, before helping that child or just labeling that child as a special child, take a time and a two and talk to that parents. Just tell them that it is okay to be a parent of a special child and to go take help of the therapist or the institutions that are there, and just don't shun them from the social functions and everything. Welcome them with your open arms, because if you do that, then only the door of this inclusive or the inclusion that we talk about opens actually. Otherwise, it is just a term that we all know that is there, because now it's the right to education where you can't actually say no to any child. You have to take any child to the education system. And how convenient it is after 6 months if you say that the child is not able to fit into the environment. Why don't you guys just move ahead? Just think of the time that is lost, those 6 months. You can't give that back, right? And especially in the class, is that please teach your children not to bully these kids. It's fun to bully these kids, but think of it for a second how that child might be thinking. Just as an adult, we can think that, right? Maybe our children are not aware of it, but we can imbibe in them these values. These are very important. As I say that academics is something which we all have, okay? But the values that we have while growing up actually makes us the person we are later on. And how we see the society. And since we are talking about today about the change, to bring some change in society, that is the only way we can do. So mental health today now is a very big issue, and this is a huge spectrum. It is called an umbrella. It doesn't stop at autism. There are many types of mental health. But the problem in India especially is that when you talk about mental health, it is talked about in a very hush-hush manner, where the family members refuse. Sometimes the spouse also refuses to take it. Okay, no, my child can't be like that. I'm so highly educated. How can it happen? All those sorts of things. But please put aside them, open your eyes, and especially the knowledge or the academics that you are so proud of, think of it that it doesn't make you like a small person, okay? It should open the horizon in front of you, where you can think something different. Probably I thought something different. That's why I was able to bring a change in my child. And that's why I'm standing here and giving a speech to you guys. Maybe some other day you guys can be also here, not by helping your child directly, but by helping someone else who might be having some kind of a mental issue. So don't take it as a taboo, just deal with it. And if you are not directly related also, then also try to help that family, at least by saying them that okay, you can come and join us. It's okay to have a special child in your life. We can feel your pain. We know how much struggle you go through every day. That also brings a lot of difference. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Gargi. Any questions out there? Oh, you got two. Oh, got questions.
Yeah.
So we do, in my neighborhood, I know that there is a child who's not speaking. It's been about 3 years since he's already born and he's not speaking a word.
Yeah.
So how do we bring help to them by, to give them, telling it's all fine, you're inclusive and all that, but how do we really give them that path to walk
Yeah,
into it?
I got what you were saying. The first thing that you should tell that family is that go to a child psychiatrist, and that child psychiatrist will probably guide them to a speech pathologist, okay? And there we can actually pinpoint what is exactly stopping that child from speaking. Is it some kind of an oral motor issue? My daughter has apraxia of speech. It is an oral motor issue where your brain doesn't coordinate with your mouth muscles and you actually can't speak. Even if you want to speak something, something else come out of your mouth and you don't have any control over it, okay? So there are many issues which might be stopping that child from speaking. So rather than just beating the bush, you have to be very straightforward, go to a child psychiatrist, and then probably take the help of an speech pathologist who can actually pinpoint what is stopping the child from speaking. And then henceforward, we can just work on it. As a co-therapist, any mother or any father who is willing to spend that 2 hours from the 24 hours, they can do magic, okay? If they want to do it, literally from the heart. But sorry to say, good that you have bring up this point. One thing is very prevalent nowadays is that just spend some money, send your child to a school, next some tuitions classes. For the special child, it is like send them to a good therapist, to an therapy center, give the money, and our job is done. And after a month, we will just go there, show our faces as a parent, and ask, okay, I have spent this certain amount of money, and what result I got? What do you think? They are magicians sitting there, just moving their magic wand, and they will make your child something different, whether he or she is a normal child or a special child? No. Please start working with your child at home. However busy you are, you can spend at least 2 hours from that busy schedule, including the fathers also, I'm saying. It is not the responsibility of a mother only to bring up that child. Please, after coming back from office, whether it is an IT professional, doctor, engineer, any sphere, you can spend that 1 hour, okay? Just don't have to do anything. Just spend that 1 hour with your child. Try to understand what he or she is going through. There might be many things that child is wanting to speak out, but doesn't know who to. Because most of the times now it is a one child in the family. We hardly have siblings now. We hardly. Because when I grew up, I had a house full of siblings. Not mine own, but I had from my uncles, okay? So I was only bothered to come to my parents only when I had to eat and I had to sleep. Rest of the time I had my friends, my siblings, whom I had grown up with in a joint family. I never had to think like, okay, there is nobody in my life. But think of today's scenario. When it is a nuclear family, you have only the parent and the child. Where exactly the child will go to speak? They can't say everything to a school friend. Sometimes the teachers are also busy with their curriculum to finish it up. They don't have the time to ponder for a one kid. It's not their fault, but it is actually. We all are racing, right? So please take your precious time out, at least an hour. You can do it, however busy you are or which position or job you are doing. And sit with that child. Play games. Have a personal talk of like where the child can open up in front of you. And the child should know one thing, that whatever happens at the end of the day, I have the shoulders of my parents to fall back. Whatever happens. So that is very, very vital to bring up any child, whether it is a special child or a normal child. That's it.
Thanks, sir. One more question, guys.
I don't have a question, but I have a statement to make. First of all, congratulations for being so confident after passing through the difficult milestones.
Thank you.
But this is autism is not something that you will have to go through this pain throughout the life. There are some course correction in your food habits which can change the kids' nervous system, which can bring them back to the normal state. And I have proven examples for that. And if you need the recipes for it and the...
Are you talking about the GFCF diet and something?
No, it's
Okay.
nothing to do with the diet. It is
Okay.
all about the change in your eating. It is the millets. If you can follow through the millet
Yeah,
diet,
I know.
that does
Yeah.
change. And I have examples who have completely turned around and they're leading their normal life.
Yeah, just don't want to discourage you because it will put up a more debate. I am aware of whatever you are saying, but let me tell you also, in this autism field, there are 3 categories, okay? One falls in the borderline, one is in the mild, and the other is severe. Now, people who are in the borderline are called Asperger's syndrome, okay? They are being named of that. So, the ma'am who was talking about this diet, yeah, it works with someone, but it doesn't work with also many people. So it's a 50-50. She also knows that it's a 50-50 chance that we all have to take. But at the end, what I have found out, and I have, for my profession, I have gone to some places where I have seen a 43-year-old adult with autism syndrome, okay? So there the problems can be reduced, can be managed, but it can't be eradicated. That is the thing. The child or the adult, the child will grow up to an adult, definitely. It won't be child for the rest of his or her life, right? So that issues will be there somewhere. And we should accept that person as that is. That is the main thing I want to say. Changing and correcting is not the solution. Not always, okay? We all have many bad habits. So if we try to change and correct them, we won't be ourselves. We will lose our originality. So autism is not a disease, first of all. It's a condition, a brain condition, a nervous system problem that a person is born with. And right now in this world, there is no proven fact which can solve this problem, no medicine to treat it anywhere in the world. So what we can do is that we can help those persons flourish through the therapies, a little bit of sympathy, empathy. That's it.
Thanks, Gargi.